ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Ruchi, for the kind introduction.
Pleasure.
So we heard from our leaders about the 4 pillars or the foundations of technology. We heard from Ravi about the modernization pillar. We heard from Siddesh about the data and automation pillar. And I'm Pradeep Vasudevan, and I'm here representing the secure pillar. Right? If you just recollect, none of our discussion that happened in the last couple of hours went without touching on security, right? So this is something that underpinning every project that we take up, right? Every initiative that you take up, right? So Sandeep started his keynote address very specifically mentioning about how the digital transformation journeys actually led to opening up the expanding threat landscape, right? You have been seeing, hearing that discussion quite often. We are moving our workloads onto the cloud. A lot of applications, your data, your users' identities, everything getting spread across multiple cloud instances, on-premise, right? There are even more getting interconnected. And it's been accessed, processed by users, consumers, employees on a real-time basis, which is essentially leading to a lot of risk exposure. The second aspect, which is very critical, is cyber attacks are getting even more sophisticated, complex, and the frequency is also increasing, right? If you regularly follow the news, you will not have a single day passing without getting some news about some customer is getting breached, right? Some data has been getting leaked. Now, and the third and most important part is about the regulatory frameworks, regulatory requirements, right? There are new regulatory frameworks, requirements coming up every day. Okay, I mean, if not every day, every 6 months you'll hear something coming up new. And the existing security controls and frameworks getting even tighter, right? It's just 3 days before the Government of India, the Ministry of Electronics and IT released the revised version of the India-specific privacy law, okay? What we call it as the Digital Personal Data Privacy Bill 2022. If you got a chance to go through that, it's very stringent, loaded with a lot of heavy penalties. So it's getting tighter everywhere. Now on the other side, right, see these are all external factors, right, where we don't have much of control on, right? This has been imposed on customers as well as the individuals. On the other side, from an organization's point of view, what are the challenges, right? Most of them are actually grappling with how do we deal with this kind of situation, right? The growing threats everywhere. See, if you look at it, when we interact with a lot of our larger customers, from the banking as well as government as well as IT, it is not the lack of technology, lack of tools, right, lack of resources that are causing the challenges. Most of the technologies that are designed for detecting and responding to cyber threats are actually working in silos, right? There are technology available, there are tools available, everything is available for people to use it. But the problem is these are working in silos and trying to defend and protect against a common threat. Now, what is the solution? So when we interact with our customers, when we talk to our larger audience, they all come back and say, what if there is a technology or what if there is a solution which helps us address all these external threats with a single unified platform? Can I have just one console or one technology which will give me everything, right? It's a very ideal situation. I know, unfortunately, we don't live in an ideal world, right? But that's something which will solve a lot of problems. So IBM's approach to this, when they reach out to us and what is IBM's point of view, right? We have been here as a market leader in the threat management for the last 13 years. Right, 13 years staying here with a lot of innovations in this space. What is IBM's point of view? So IBM has kept it as very simple philosophy, right? We are going to bring out, we are bringing out a technology which is going to be open, right? When we say open technology, it is expected to work with all your existing investments, right? Because there are different technologies designed to do different tasks, right? Wherein ripping and replacing this technology and with a one single mammoth platform is practically impossible. So IBM is bringing out an open platform which work with the existing investment, doing the detection and response, right? With an end-to-end seamless integration. Okay, so what we call it as open XDR, the word open means that you're open to integrate to all the existing technology and still provide a single seamless end-to-end experience. So we are creating a framework, we are creating a shield with the existing investments to defend against a common threat, to defend against a common enemy. So this is a philosophy under which IBM introduced a platform called XDR Connect. XDR, we all know, extended detection and response is a very commonly abused word, right? So we are not talking about IBM introducing a whole lot of products and giving to it and then take all of them, it will protect you. We are telling you, you use your existing investment, we are helping you to integrate all of them, still helping you protect. Now, we will Vice President of Security, Information Security of Genpact, right? And I request Mr. Mufti to be on stage and request him to share some of his experience with us, right?
Thank you, Pradeep.
Thank you, Faizul. Thanks for being here and thanks for accepting our invitation. I know it's been a very hectic schedule for you. You have to go back to your work, right? So that's a life of a person who manages the
security guy.
Security. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me here. Thank you.
So Faizul, we have been interacting for some time and you manage the security program for one of the most complex organizations, Genpact, right? And spread across different geographies. So you come with a lot of experience in the cybersecurity background, right? And we would like to hear from you. What has changed in the last couple of years, right? And what is the kind of change you see in the threat landscape? So we would like to have your views on that, Faizul.
Yeah, I think as we started building security programs earlier, the thought process was reduce your attack surface, reduce your attack surface. That was the biggest thing we used to think about, right? But today, what has happened over the last few years and previously as well, actually the attack surface has grown. We have spread. We heard all the speakers talking about it, all the leaders talking about it. The scale at which business transformation, digital transformation has been happening actually has grown the whole attack surface quite broader. And the bigger problem is we don't have visibility. So that's the first biggest problem statement that we have to solve for. Organizations, enterprises do not know where their assets lie today. With remote working, business transformation happening, all of this has become complex. That's the first thing. Now, at the same time, what has also happened is, with technology obviously moving to newer scales, the Internet of Things became very important for businesses to grow. Cloud computing was important because the organizations had to survive. The businesses had to maintain their agility and sustainability. We've been talking about it. Now, all this transformed into, a talent crunch as well at the same time, and that's a big problem area for enterprises and solving the problem for building that secure environment became complex. And last thing I would say is, on the hindsight, all of this became a friendly space for threat actors, bad actors to play around. They became more sophisticated. We have been seeing them identifying all those technology areas where customers, enterprises do not have a visibility. So their scope of making sure that the scale and the fast speed at which they were moving to cloud, it actually created a lot of backdrops in terms of they not maintaining the hygiene importantly, right? So we've been seeing business and leaders talking about let's have scale and fast movement to cloud or business transformation, but we unfortunately started to lose the hygiene and the baselines of our security programs, which now with a lot of these attacks that happen, I think it's become much more evident that the baselines need to be prioritized for organizations. So I think that would be my 2 cents on how the change has happened and how threat landscape has also changed.
Okay, thanks, Faizul. In fact, you touched upon the external attack surface being, exponential increase on that space. So we would like to hear from you, what is your priorities when you deal with a cyber attack, and what are the technologies that you leverage, right, or looking forward to, which will help you in this defense program?
Yeah, big area for us particularly and for organizations like us is gaining, as I mentioned, visibility. So the focus is consolidation. What we have been doing in the last few years is scaling our internal visibility in the organization. The focus when pandemic hit all of us, we were kind of ready to enable business, remote working. But what happened in the initial few months was our visibility was reduced to an extent. And we saw that created a lot of opportunities where we were not able to measure our security program effectively. So the first thing that we started looking at was how are we able to kind of identify our core assets. Maybe, obviously, again, it's a big broader domain. Your inventory is a big problem. CMDBs are never accurate. We have the same problem. But we started focusing on what's our critical asset, what are those definitions that we had. We started building a layer of visibility there. And measurement was a key area. So our endpoints, wherever our attack surface now moved out, we were supposedly doing the measurement from, let's say, day 2, not day 1, obviously, but day 2. We started doing that measurement and kind of got what is our risk exposure, this risk management that we did. We've defined those definitions of scores and evaluations we did, so we had those tools in place. So we talked about all of this. We had obviously a layer of tools to be deployed, but thankfully we had them in place. The biggest thing I would say, again, what we did during this time was we leveraged a lot of these external visibility programs that we had. We have engagements with a lot of partners, and the last of it, I would say, the strategy around, we've been hearing this word zero trust. We've been hearing about obviously building the attack surface management, and now XDR, which we have been talking about. We laid a roadmap of making that strategy work not in silos, but as a collaborative program. We at Genpact, we've been having obviously a focused dimension around security. All of these different programs that we run, we thought about what's a zero trust that we need to do for each of the areas, like cloud security, like people security as well. It's a big domain in zero trust. Adaptive security, application security, I lead cyber defense. So what are we doing there? So we ringed the whole net around all of these domains and started making slow progress in terms of creating those technology and process-oriented decisions. And that has helped us today where we stand. We have a greater visibility and a lot of areas to improve, obviously. But I would say that has helped us maintain the attack surface to our visibility, and we know where our assets lie. Secondly, our monitoring has become much more efficient with, and I'll talk about it in a bit, how business context intelligence has helped us with what we are running on the platforms that we're taking from IBM, and how much of automation we've been able to achieve based on what we have done in the program.
Okay, thanks, Faizul. In fact, you mentioned about the partnership with IBM. In fact, you are one of the older security partners of IBM, and Genpact even has worked with our product development team to get the product tuned to fit into their requirement, right? So, would you like to share a couple of your views and experience with partnership with IBM?
Sure. I've been, in the industry for a while. We know Security Operations Center. It's an endless program. It never ends. I was recently in a forum where we always we talked about like, is your security operations center program complete now? We are never complete, right? So the journey started many years back for us, but our focus had already been that we wanted to develop a very strong in-house program. I think that was, so our objectives and goal for the program were very clear, and that helped us drive obviously some of the key focus areas. And I'll just highlight few of them, some basic ones but important ones. We made sure that when we are building this program and we are using 𝗘𝗺𝗯𝗏 as a technology, we made sure that our focus is on business intelligence and intelligence coming in from our business context and the risk that is associated to Genpact, not that what we see around the world, right, around the globe. So that was one big focus area. Second was automation. We made sure that our SOAR platform was actually comprehended to a new scale of automation. The incident responders had to be made aware of the risks that they see in the environment, the context they have with the, let's say, the user behavior reports they see, and all of that was amalgamated into their dashboards, and the workflows were well oriented for them to work upon. So I think that it's not an easy journey, I would say. It was very difficult initially, but with great support from IBM team and partners, we've been able to reach where we stand today.
Thanks, Faizul. In fact, Genpact is one of the organizations which actually use automation to the fullest capability, right? We have a case study published by IBM wherein they have managed to repurpose the L1, L2 level of analysts with pure automation, complete end-to-end automation and orchestration. So thanks to you for all the effort that's been put in, right? So we all would, very keen to know about future, right? And we have been talking about what happened last 2 years, what is going on now. And this is my favorite topic which I would like to ask you, Faizul. Where do you see this is heading? Because security is a journey, right? It keeps on involving new threats are coming up, the defenders are also evolving. So what do you think, in your view, lying ahead in terms of security defense program?
Yeah, I'll pick up pointers that have come through the sessions today since we started. I think data, we talked about data, we heard data is now the oil fuel. So data is one big area that I think is a future, not only for us to prevent, protect, but also for bad actors to go in and use. So I think that's one big area. Second, you highlighted more of siloed approach that we had previously has to change. We have to focus on consolidated approach, collaborated approach. So we as an organization, industry-wide as well, we should be focused on making sure that that collaboration of the different technologies, putting in intelligence to each other, solving problems, helping us resolve what is threat, what is risk, helps the organization build stronger security programs. And last but not the least, obviously, focus on talent. I think security talent is hard to find. We are struggling, everyone is struggling, but make sure that we find opportunities to make sure that you retain your talent and make them grow.
Thank you so much. Thank you once again for taking your valuable time out of your hectic schedule. A very insightful discussion.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.